Sharon.
I told Marty, he's like, he looks like Kilo Mills on that cookie. Made the cookie look like an
Yeah, I told him he went to unbutton him overalls, one more button.
I got any more buttons left.
I'll drop it by your house and make sure we're ready.
Yeah, man, I'm leaving on vibrate.
I bet you had a good teacher.
I did. That's what Wesley said. The best.
Question.
Wait on you to remove your head. I'm waiting on you to remove your head and we'll get started. If y'all will, stand. 4 years ago today, JP asked me if she could do the prayer. She was not allowed to with the last administration. She did my first prayer as my administration. She's going to do my last one. Miss Claudia.
Thank you, Judge. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we come this evening bittersweet because we are going to be saying goodbye to some wonderful people that have tried to do what's best for Marion County. We know that you have plans for their path going forward, and we ask that you will bless them. Be with the rest of us that are still here. Be with the audience that's here to help shape Marion County and help us to remember that what we all want is what's best for Marion County. Thank you for the rain, the sunshine that came out. We ask that you will be with us tonight as we make plans for what we do going forward. It's in your Son, Jesus, who we pray. Amen.
Amen. Brady.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I will start off with the minutes, Miss Dawn.
Pardon me?
Minutes. I'll make a motion to read by title only.
motion to approve and read by title only.
I got a motion to read by title only.
Second.
You got a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No, I'm gonna read by title only tonight.
Okay, as far as the minutes go, did that include the special minutes as well?
Nah, yeah, we can go over both. That'd be good.
I make a motion to approve the minutes for both meetings.
I've got a motion.
Second.
Got a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We'll let the minutes stand. Treasurer report.
Okay, the balance in county general is $1,837,608.67. I do realize I have an extra 7 in there. And county road, I was asked to combine, there's $851,384.75. And in Fund 2003, which is additional fuel, there's $84,005.48, with a total of $2,344,661.12. Total funds under my responsibility, $11,399,216.48, and no FEMA as of yet. Sales tax for last month was $141,090.80. And we have no historical information, but with having a conversation with Don Crispino, since we're so close to the end of the year, and with the new treasurer coming in, he suggested, and I talked with Susie about this, and we all agreed that in January to save a few $100s to just do everything in January, and that way she has it all set up the way she wants it, and she will have access to Office of Historical Information. And jail bond sales tax was $106,152.76.
Motion.
You got a motion?
Second.
You got a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Assessor report. Collector report.
All right, for the month of November, we collected $1,224.67. That's what we've given over to the treasurer. We were not able to collect anything because the credit cards still are down since November. So that's all we've had. For the year thus far that I can tell, we've collected about $10.5 million in taxes this year. So that is a huge, huge credit. Since I've only done this 1 year, and I have to thank the staff that I've had that have been patient with me and have done the yeoman's work, starting with Angie Goodman, who put together the online credit card system sharing it. And we modernized the office, and now we've gotten it ready, so we have a smooth transition to our next collection next year. But I do want to thank the Quorum Court for the opportunity to serve as the collector, and again, thank you again the tremendous work done by Angie Goodman and by Sherry Sharp in that cabinet. So, if there are any questions?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Where are we on that credit card payment?
According to Apprentice and those people that we're still not operating, and hopefully it'll be done by the end of the year, but we still don't have very much information on that. I'm told that they're supposed to be able to make payments online, although we haven't seen that yet through the people that we've talked to. So we're still up in the air on that.
Anyone else?
Motion.
You got a motion? You got a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Let it stand. OEM report.
It was a typical month last month, exception of a truck wreck. We had a Blue Thomas truck crash with 50,000 pounds of raw chicken quarters on the truck, and it was kind of a mess to clean up. And then working a fatality accident just here west or east of Yellow. 2 fatalities in that wreck last month, and making sure the mitigation was taken care of. It was promptly taken care of that night or that morning. It's been a pleasure being your OEM for the last 15 months.
Go ahead.
I'd like, on behalf of the Quorum Court, I don't think there'll be anyone disagreeing with me. We thank you for the outstanding job that you have done for us for the last 15 months.
Thank you.
I second that. Thank you.
I heard it.
I'll tell y'all, Dwayne come on board 2 weeks before he got on the payroll. We was left, a man quit without even noticing. He come in 2 weeks without pay and got a litigation plan done, got all the things going with no pay. That tells you what kind of character Dwayne is. He's gonna be very missed, and I appreciate all he's done for me. He's done more for Marion County in the 6 months than the last 5 of Williams has. I promise you that. I got a motion.
Motion.
Second.
You got a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? E911 sick, got the flu.
Motion to approve.
You got a motion?
Second.
You got a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We'll let it stand. Grant report?
We've started using our American Rescue funds for some grants, and the School of New Hope did purchase their van. Water Rescue is in the process of purchasing their equipment, and I think Marion County Community is in the process of closing on their purchase. What we're doing is recommended by the Northwest Arkansas Economic Development, and that is we don't give checks directly to the entities or organizations. They have to bring us the receipts, and then we make the payment on their behalf out of their particular fund, and it's easier to track for federal auditing. Promised Land Area Community Organization got a grant for a concrete area so they can do many activities. And then we're doing some reimbursement for the Oakland Promised Land Fire Protection District, and we're closing out on the e-crash system for the Sheriff's Office on their onboard computers. And they recently got a grant for 14 additional bulletproof vests. They can get upgraded. I think they can get a better type of vest. So I'm told. So that's all I have.
Motion.
You got a motion? Anybody got a second? All in favor? Any opposed? Any more? Got any questions for Karen? Law enforcement report?
For the end of November, we had a total inmates of 76.
64 were males, 12 were females, 3 being our 309 state inmates. We had 37 DOC inmates and 2 female DOC inmates. And then the one that's shown to be housed at other agencies, that's actually one that we're holding for Baxter County, so it would be 77 instead of 76. Circuit court collections was 5,878.36. Circuit court restitutions were 1,765. District court collections were 15,035. We had a total of 62 new warrants totaling 553,230. Also included is the detention center report, the county deputy report, and Metro. Any questions?
My county deputy report's blank. I do have the Metro one though.
Copy I have numbers on, but if I need to print them off.
Anybody else got any questions for the sheriff?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hold it. Go ahead.
I just want to tell you, thank you for the job you've done up there and for the county. We're gonna miss you.
I've enjoyed the last 6 years of service to the county.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
You'll miss us, dude.
I'll be around.
Anybody else got a question for the sheriff? Go ahead.
Not necessarily for the sheriff.
You can stand up and be recognized.
My name is Linda McCann. I'm from Oakland, Arkansas. And I was wondering if I could share a little bit of the information regarding Oakland that we have been dealing with recently.
Are you addressing the sheriff?
I guess so.
Yeah, so you need to, you can make it real short.
I will. I will. Thank you for letting me speak. So, in the recent past, we've had more than just a few issues with burglaries. It has been intensifying, it's been ongoing, and we're all really concerned. We're concerned because it's beginning to affect the way our community's safety is perceived and what we have to do in order to help ourselves be protected. What we have done so far is, on our own, is establish a community neighborhood watch. These are all volunteers, all residents that are willing to ride 24/7, whatever it takes. They're signing up to do this, to just keep an eye on the community, because it appears as though most of this activity is happening in the middle of the night. So we're also establishing group text with our immediate neighbors, other people in the community, just so we can let our neighbors and friends know, hey, I'm not gonna be here, you know, kind of keep a lookout for our place. It really is just a strange way to live when you have to do that. We're also securing items as much as we can. We have encouraged our residents to take photographs, write down serial numbers, so when it comes, unfortunately, the opportunity arises that we have to report it to the sheriff, that we have that information, that we are trying to keep track of our stuff. But it's, again, changing the way we live. A good example of that was, you know, if we're gonna be away for a short vacation or whatever, you have to really think about what you have in your house and how you're going to make that extra secure. And that's just contrary to the way our community has been in the past. It's very discouraging. And we're also encouraging people that if they see something, to say something, even though it might be something that seems minor, or, you know, that's just doesn't make sense, it doesn't fit into what's going on. We are really encouraging for people to call. You're gonna see that. And I think that's a good idea. because then it gets recorded, then it's more than just hearsay, and gossip and rumor, like, this is really what's going on. And, you know, the disturbing part, I guess, is as a community, we're close. We do a lot together, we have fun together, we cry together. But we're not law enforcement. And we are putting ourselves in very vulnerable positions. If any of you have had anything to do with an unsavory element, whatever their motivation is, I don't know, do they just need the money? What are they using the money for? I don't know, I'm not gonna speculate. But when you know that a great deal of drugs are in our society today, that's very concerning to me, because those situations become very volatile, very fast, with an element of paranoia that these people have, and the uncertainty of how they act.
I can make this a whole lot better for you if you want me to. If you will call tomorrow and talk to Miss Dawn and get on the next monthly agenda, the new sheriff and the new judge will be here. And if you was at any of the campaign rallies, they promised you law enforcement
Yes.
and all of that. If you will address those next month, would be a whole lot better off, I promise you, because this administration is leaving,
Sure.
but they had promised you a lot and I was there. So if you would get on the thing with Miss Dawn for next Quorum Court meeting, they will have the new staff here and you can address the new sheriff and the new county judge.
And I guess we had to start somewhere.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
to a point where we have to do something.
Yeah.
It's more than just minor teenage foolishness of doing goofy things that we probably all did when we were kids. This is above and beyond that, and it's really, really disturbing.
Go ahead, Sheriff.
I'm
Sheriff.
just gonna respond to what you're saying. We are aware of this. We have been up in the area trying to gather information. We've been working with Ozark County on the open cases. It's just, as a suggestion, I'm in high hopes that we'll be able to get our part-time people back, which at one time we was able to dedicate them to the Oakland, Pommel Sun area and tried to have them up there a minimum of 30 hours, a week. And which we just have a reserve up there now. He is very, very, pro, enforcement up there in that area. He spends as much time as he possibly can, but hopefully moving forward, we can get that manpower that's needed to be helpful for you guys.
Yeah, that would be greatly appreciated. It has changed the dynamics like you wouldn't believe. It almost is like, do we just lock ourselves, and just hope it doesn't happen to me, and you're so sad when it happens to your neighbors and your friends. And it has changed the whole dynamics of our community. And we appreciate what you're doing. We really do. It is not an easy job, and we know that. We're willing to do as much as we can do to help, but again, we're not law enforcement.
Yes, ma'am. And we don't want to create an unsafe situation for no one.
And that's why we're here, just
Yes,
to
ma'am.
raise awareness.
And I got one more thing, and I'm not trying to be harsh or nothing, but it's not just Oakland, I promise. I live 2 miles from Yellow, and it's the times we live in. You better watch your back, and you better watch who's pulling up the driveway, and there's
Right.
2 deputies on in Main County at night, and that's the world we live in. It's been that way for 20 years. We don't have enough people to cover the whole county.
And I totally understand that, I really do, and I understand budgetary concerns, I've been in that position. I also know that it doesn't take much
I know.
if we don't stand up and say, okay, now we need to get more involved and do something for our neighborhoods, communities, just to fall apart.
And they hear about that, and maybe it'll, deter some of them, but that's the world we live in. It don't matter if you're out here in the middle of Yellow
I
there,
know.
they see something laying there, they're gonna steal it.
We'll move on, and if you'll just call Miss Dawn and get on there.
Question.
All right, hold on a minute. Who does?
But how far out of town do you live, Brady?
2 miles.
So you actually have, not trying anything, but you actually live closer to law enforcement getting to you than all of us at Oakland for law enforcement to get out there to us.
I realize. I mean, that's the way it's been my whole life. I mean, Oakland and, you know,
We're not gonna accomplish nothing, but if y'all will get on the agenda next month and call in, then you can talk to the new sheriff and the new county judge, and if you was at the campaign rallies, you heard what they said, hold them to it. Let's move on. Thank you. Library report. Well, I need to get a motion on the sheriff's. I guess, I got a motion. Got a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Library report. Fire board report.
I just have a financial report. Were there any questions?
Got a motion? Got a second, all in favor? Any opposed? Road report. It'll be there in front of you.
motion.
Got a motion? Got a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Query report.
Motion.
Got a motion? Got a second? All in favor? Any
Aye.
opposed? Solid waste report.
Motion.
Got a motion?
Second.
Got a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Fire chief.
The run reports, same as what that 243 calls responded to for the fire department for last month. Just as another side note, the Fire Chiefs Association does rotate its presidency every year. So Fairview's fire chief will be the one to report for next year. So any questions?
I'll speak for Billy. He was sick today. He's the chairman of the radio committee. The towers will be started working next week to get them up in the air. So progress on that is going. So he's ordered stuff and trying to get everything coordinated, but the towers should be up. The repeaters are not here yet, or the licensing, but the towers will be up next week. So if the weather permits.
Anybody got any questions for the fire chief?
From here out, if you have any questions, Ryan Roberts will be the fire chief. So get them.
Brent, thank you for what you've done for the
Yep,
association.
we appreciate your voice.
Thank you, Brent.
Thank you.
Planning commission?
Yeah, so we had a meeting with a group that's planning a large subdivision up in North 14. We had the county attorney there. They agreed with all of our requirements, and as of right now, it's early on in the stage of their subdivision, but we see no problem right now. So we will keep you and the county informed on if there is any. So thank you.
We appreciate it. Appreciate all of y'all. Budget personnel committee?
We've had a couple of meetings since our last one, and we have passed, well, the budget is ready to pass tonight. Mike hasn't been here. Mike, you want to say anything about it?
The only thing I'll add is in the budget report that was sent out yesterday through the elected officials, if some of your funds have no money appropriated, what that means is we didn't have a budget report to do the updating. And whoever does the updating, if there's no dollar amounts, I guess there's a copy file. I don't know what's gonna happen with the new financial system, but if there's no, in our budget report, if you see it blank, you don't prepare a budget for that department, for that item. Here's what's been going on, the master file has been converted. And we're getting budgets are showing up that was never approved by the Quorum Court. So this year, you're gonna, if you see something blank, that means, and we can get it into next month's ordinance and just say, hey, this one was overlooked. And I might have made a mistake, but I printed what I had. So I just want to remind that whoever's gonna do that, that they're gonna have to look at it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else?
Claudia, you took minutes at our last
I
meeting.
did, and I completely forgot.
Okay, well,
I'll
that's
have them
okay,
next one.
because we got copies. Yeah, so we're okay.
Completely forgot.
Thank you, Joyce.
Oh, you're welcome.
Law Enforcement Committee. Solid Waste Committee. Procedures Management Committee.
We haven't had a meeting.
All right.
All meeting.
We got a presentation here that I absolutely had no idea we having. I guess I didn't read the packet good enough, close enough. I want to give you 15 minutes to talk. That's it, 15 minutes. Then we're going to cut her off. We got a long meeting tonight, and I'm sorry for the 15 minutes. That's it.
That's all right. I can handle 15 minutes. May I approach? And
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is cybersecurity.
My name's Shane Noor. I'm with Dazzy IT Services, just across the line, north, just south of Hollister. So.
Is that a police car thing not in there? Yeah, I think so. I don't have a copy of it. You got a copy of it.
You talk about the ordinance
for the new cars. I don't have one. It's on the.
All right. Again, where's the best place for me to stand? So that
right in the middle.
Right in the middle. Right up here.
Yeah, anywhere you want to stand. I don't care.
Okay. Anyway, I'll get over here to where hopefully everyone can see me. But my name's Shane Norm with Dazzy IT Services out of Branson. We work with a lot of city municipalities all across Missouri and Arkansas. So I was asked today to kind of present some information on cybersecurity. We've done as much as half-day trainings for the Missouri City Clerks and Finance Directors Organization, but today, with 15 minutes, I'll run through fairly quickly and try to hit high points for everyone. So if you have questions, please interrupt me. I don't get offended at all, so just let me know.
If you don't mind, John Treat, you mind sitting down? All right, go ahead.
Okay, I was gonna say, I didn't realize I had that going, but.
Yeah, why not?
All right. All right, so first we'll talk about how big the problem is. I understand that the county has experienced some cybersecurity issues in the past. So hopefully none to the level that we'll talk about today. So how many of you are familiar with the Colonial Pipeline incident last year, 2021? Shut down the entire East Coast when it comes to auto fuel. It was what the attackers used is called ransomware as a service. You don't have to have any technical knowledge to use this. It's basically a subscription service like Netflix. For as little as $99 a month, you can get this ransomware, email it out wherever you want to, and collect the money. So it attacked the Colonial Pipeline business network, not the actual production network, but they preemptively shut down the pipeline so that they didn't have any further extent of damage. But the key here is that it came through their normal operating business network like you guys use here internally for email and everything else. Ironically, what happened in this scenario, it wasn't someone hacking through their network. It was basically an old user account that was still left active that no one had taken out of their VPN connection. So because it was not audited on a regular basis, that allowed the bad guys to get into the network and deploy this ransomware, which ultimately they ended up paying a $5 million ransom to the attackers. So it's one of the larger ones of 2021. Actually, the largest ransomware we've ever seen happened in 2021, and that was with a Kaseya breach, where a lot of IT service providers were using software to manage their clients' networks. That software itself was breached and shut down over 1.5 million endpoints, encrypted them immediately. The attackers, based out of Eastern Europe, demanded a $75 million ransom to get it turned off. So it is a significant issue. Most small organizations feel like that they're not a target, but actually just the opposite is true. Smaller organizations, and particularly municipal organizations, you guys are the #1 target because they realize cities and counties can't go out of business. They're going to have some insurance, and they've got the answer to the constituents, so they're not going to shut the doors. So you guys are a prime target. Most of the time, it's because they don't have a dedicated budget for cybersecurity, or they don't have dedicated staff for that. So again, kind of going back to the fact that smaller organizations, you may think that you're not on the radar. They don't come after people individually. They're scanning the internet continuously, looking for low-hanging fruit, and you don't want to be that low-hanging fruit. I'm gonna kind of go through these statistics very quickly so that we make the most of the time, but needless to say, ransomware is probably one of the most prolific threats to most organizations when it comes to financial loss. 2021, there's a ransomware attack every 11 seconds worldwide. The average ransom that was paid out was almost $250,000 to get the data back. So it is real dollars, it's really happening, and it's happening more frequently than most would like to admit. And the total cost to remediate that, the average of that is $761,000 by the time you factor in the cost to bring in the experts, clean things up, and get things up and running again. But ransomware is not the only concern. Have you ever heard of business email compromise? Basically, it's where someone gets access to the official's accounts. When they get access to the email account, typically that is through a password that has been reused across multiple sites. We know that 70% of all users reuse the same passwords across Netflix, Amazon, and their work email. So once that work email gets hacked or breached, those attackers now have access to all of your data, and they can also send that email to any of your partners, vendors, clients. One of the things we say quite frequently is internally there's an email that's sent that appears to be a payroll change. We've changed banks. I need you to update my direct deposit. Because that's been compromised, they put in a fraudulent bank account. Payroll goes out the next time, goes to the bad guy's bank account. Most of the time, people don't even realize it until it's gone. Annually, about 1.8 billion lost due to email compromise each year. The big thing that I want to point out here is 2,200 incidents per day in 2020. That was up over 50% over the year before. So definitely coming in close second, if not overtaking ransomware as threats. So one of the reasons we want to come in and talk to you guys is we see three common things that most organizations completely miss when it comes to protecting themselves against cybersecurity threats. Most of the time when we talk to folks, we ask, what are you guys doing to protect your environment? They say, well, we've got good firewalls and good antivirus, but I'm here to tell you today that is not enough. There's fileless malware that's in use today that you don't have to download a thing. You don't have to click on a thing to allow that ransomware to execute. It's basically you go to a website, and when it loads the picture, it runs that script in the background. Traditional antivirus will not catch those type of threats, neither will the firewall, and it uses, in many cases, legitimate applications to do malicious intent. So as we saw with the Kaseya breach, they use legitimate remote access tools by their IT support to gain access to the systems. They use that legitimate tool and deployed ransomware to over 1.5 million endpoints. So you can't just block everything. So antivirus is not going to do it. A firewall is not going to do it. And most of the time, the damage is done before anyone even realizes what's going on. The other thing we see, and this is across every organization, it doesn't matter what sector you fall in, most of the time folks are not taking advantage of multi-factor authentication where you have to put in a code from a phone or a one-time token from a USB key. That needs to be across the board on everything. Every email account, every application, every web service should have multi-factor enabled. As I mentioned, we know 70% of people reuse passwords across multiple sites and services. That's one of those key reasons that this is so effective for the bad guys. They get access to one, they now have access to all, and because no multi-factor is there, it's unfettered access. The other side of that is a lack of end-user security awareness training, making sure that your end users know how to protect themselves, know how to recognize threats and risks. The big one is no regular auditing and alignment to industry best practices and cybersecurity requirements. As a result of the Colonial Pipeline incident, the Biden administration issued an executive order requiring all organizations that do business under a federal contract. Now, in 2023, they're going to have to be CMMC compliant. It's basically a cybersecurity framework. And the reason I'm bringing this up is that it's at the federal level today. In the next 3 years, it's going to be pushing down to the state and local level. So it's going to be part of the requirements. And it's a lot of the stuff that we're talking about. The regular auditing and alignment visits could have prevented that Colonial Pipeline attack because they would have known that they had an old user account still active in their VPN and could have caught that before damage was done. The threat landscape changes daily. Whether you've got the best firewall on the market, whether you install it today, it doesn't matter. When you put it in or you have your contractors put it in, they're going to install it securely today. But you have different software, you have different users, all of that changes daily. And if you're not going back and auditing that on a regular basis, you're going to have a vulnerability pop up. And again, most of the time, ownership and management is completely unaware of those risk and liability issues unless it's presented to them in a format they can digest. All right, so how can you guys address it? Again, we talked about antivirus and firewall not being enough. Additional cybersecurity software is needed. You need what's called threat hunting software and zero trust cybersecurity software. Those two things in combination layer on top of your traditional antivirus. If you don't have that in place today, it's an easy add-on. You don't have to do anything special. You just need to make sure that you work with a vendor that can get it configured for you. Multi-factor authentication, we talked about the need to have that on every service, every application. I understand with municipalities, a lot of times they don't want to use a personal phone for that. There are USB tokens that you can purchase that plug into the device and do that for you so you don't have to use a personal device. But it needs to be deployed across the organization and enforced consistently. Geo restrictions, I doubt you guys are going to have a whole lot of people that would log in from Eastern Europe. So your email tenant should have geo restrictions that says no one outside of the continental US can log into your accounts. Settings that don't cost any money but are available in your email platform. And then also link and email attachment filtering in your email. The regular auditing and alignment should be done monthly. You should be looking at that because vulnerabilities come up every month, whether it's a brand new device or software. In another week, in another month, there's going to be a vulnerability. There's going to be old users. There's going to be configurations that get made that need to have someone go over it with a second set of eyes to make sure you're not vulnerable. And then the other piece of that is comprehensive documentation of all the results and the remediation steps taken. If you guys get into a scenario where you have to make a cyber liability insurance claim, first thing the insurance carrier is going to ask is what was done, in what order, by whom, and how did you communicate that? All of that needs to be in a documentation format that you can readily produce and show that you did your due diligence. Otherwise, even if you've got a cyber liability insurance policy, we're seeing a lot of insurance carriers now denying those type of claims. So because of the lack of these type of things. Again, we're a cybersecurity firm out of Branson, Missouri. We've worked with banks, hospitals, organizations anywhere from Winnipeg, Canada, all the way down to the Florida Keys. Most of our team are all of our technical team are CJIS certified. So from a PD perspective, we're covered from that side. We're CMMC certified from the federal level. We basically come in and audit the environment to make sure you're protected. If you guys need us to, we can come in and do an audit for you free of charge as a municipal organization. So that's available to you. The last thing I want to point out, I don't know how I'm doing on time.
You're doing good.
Okay, I'm trying to talk fast. So we've got an event we're hosting Thursday. If you're familiar with Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank, we're actually hosting an event with him and Mike Michalowicz, a business author, and Eric O'Neill, who is one of the most famous FBI counterintelligence agents that brought down Robert Hansen, famous Russian double agent. They're going to be speaking at this event as well as I will also be doing a presentation. It's free of charge. There's a lot of information when it comes to cybersecurity, what you need to be aware of. What we're seeing today, and regardless of whether we ever do business or not, I would tell you as an organization, municipal organization, if you don't have a separate cyber liability insurance policy, you need to put one in place today. Contact your insurance rep. And one of the things we're seeing is the availability of those cyber liability policies is getting more and more restrictive. So you're going to have to show a lot of these type of protections to even qualify. But I will tell you, if you don't have the policy, you're going to be on the hook for any type of ransomware, and not only just the ransomware, any type of recovery efforts. Even if you have an insurance policy, most of the time folks don't realize you have to cover the operational cost until that's all settled. So you're going to have to foot that bill for any type of recovery efforts, any equipment that's needed, any type of professional services to get you back up and going. So a lot of that information will be presented at this event on Thursday. If you go to smallbusinesstechnologyday.com, you can register. Again, it's a free event going on from 9 to 1. A lot of great information. So with that, I will open it up for any questions. I know I threw a lot of information really quickly. Yes, sir.
You're talking based on what you're saying, providing the software. What kind of, it's very hard to say this because you know it and I know it. A monthly fee, an annual fee? Is that what you're talking about? Because I think at the last one, we were talking about IT specialists in our county, our size, just can't afford an IT specialist.
Right. So it really varies depending on what you're looking for. I mean, we provide, for some organizations, we just do a quarterly audit. We don't do the ongoing support. We just come in either quarterly or even annually. A lot of times they'll do that in conjunction with their cyber liability insurance renewal, whether it's us or someone else. You want someone helping you make sure you step through that process, answering those questions, and making recommendations for you on what you need to improve. Because even if you answer one of those audit questions wrong, or not wrong, but you say you don't have it in place, but if you can tell them that you have steps on the drawing board that you're going to correct that, you can avoid that insurance policy going on as well.
In doing an audit, let's say you audit at the end of this year, we might have been compromised 2 months ago.
Right, exactly.
And in an audit, we'd say, hey, you got a problem.
Right.
Or have a problem.
Right.
That would be the problem with an audit. It's making you aware you got a problem, not even, I'm sure some companies have problem, they're infringing, don't even know it.
Right. Oh, absolutely. Most of the organizations we talk to have no idea the vulnerability.
Do you have an ongoing monitoring?
We do offer that as well. We do. And so you can come at it from a multiple different directions. It can be a one-time, it can be ongoing.
How much you want to spend?
Exactly. It comes down to your budget capacity for that.
Okay.
But I will say that while it's true that the audit only identifies the issues that you have, you at least get the opportunity to have the documentation that here's what we need to correct in order to protect ourselves properly.
All right, thank you.
You bet.
Anyone else got any questions? We sure do appreciate it.
All right. Thank
Yes,
you
sir.
guys for allowing me to talk.
Yes, sir.
You got a business card,
I do.
please? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, sir. All right, we'll get back to business at hand. Let's go with the old business. We had an ordinance 2022-82. We need to talk about tonight.
This ordinance will amend the Marion County personnel policy to allow for certified law enforcement officers additional salary payments on completion of their certificates that they obtain. The basic certificate, general certificate, intermediate certificate, advanced certificate, and senior certificate.
Thank you.
I don't have any of these done. All I have is what's on the table. I get a hard copy of them. I don't have any of those for law enforcement. I got
This was tabled last month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's part of a copy. I got it right here.
we tabled it last month because the sheriff wasn't here.
Everybody find one?
It was, you had it marked down as 2022 ordinance 82.
82.
That's correct?
Yeah.
I got it.
You need my copy, Tyler?
I got it.
You need a motion?
I got a motion.
Got a second.
Got a second? Anybody need to talk about this one? Go ahead,
I
Justice
thought
Brigham.
when the budget committee was discussing this, we talked about having, if money was available.
That's right.
And I don't know that I'm glancing at this and I don't see that is in this ordinance, is it? As money is available, the sheriff's the one that suggested it. Well, that's what he's experienced with. Not saying that, but anyway, he suggested that to us. And I don't see that written here.
In the second article.
Okay.
In the second article, it says the certificate payments shall be payable out of.
Oh, there it is, subject to funds, but thank you, Don.
You're welcome.
And that's got some fancy wording in it. What is the per annum? Is that means annually? So each year they'll get another,
Once a year.
each year.
Once a year.
So if you get if you get the certificate, then every year thereafter, you will get that bonus?
Yeah.
I thought we discussed that when you got the certificate, you got a bonus.
Right.
Right.
I didn't realize we were discussing every year.
Well, I understood that it was
What's
every year, but they don't get the same amount. That they have to have another certificate. Am I not correct?
Mr. Chairman?
Hold on a minute. Let's start all over again. All right. All right. Matt, go ahead. You got the floor.
My understanding that to allow certification at different levels, that would then be, that employee or the deputy or whoever would now get 300 a year based on that one certification. If I'm wrong, am I wrong, sure?
I think that's how we had discussed.
And I thought that if they get other certificates, that would now add to their wages. And I think it'd be on an annual basis, wouldn't be just one time. We never did, not
Yeah,
law
you-
enforcement.
But it says $300 per certificate.
Right.
Annually.
Right.
Well, there's probably hundreds of certificates out there. So if you went and got 100 certificates, that's more money than we could pay.
Well, the certificates will be outlined in the job description.
All right, hold on a minute.
Yeah.
Mr. Russo, he got a
I looked this ordinance over, at the request of JP White. This was to be a annual bonus, subject to availability. There's 5 certificates total.
Okay.
And it would be no more than the 1,500. So the incentive was for them to continue and further their education. And as we discussed at the budget, committee meeting, some of those requirements were college level courses in English, additional studies and additional law enforcement studies to make our officers better, more well educated. And as a result, if they hit the highest level, the max would be $1,500 a year. But that would require a tremendous amount of education and years in service. It's a combination of both.
That's a master's degree.
I'm
sorry.
Yeah, you got a word. Sheriff, you had the floor next.
I'm sorry.
You raised your hand.
Well, pretty much I was gonna add to what John.
Do you need, do you want to add anything?
When he said, you know, there's hundreds of certificates.
Yeah,
I was gonna-
all right. Anybody else?
My concern is that that's gonna get tricky budgeting because we're gonna have to keep track of all this and then we're gonna have like these one-time thing or like this reoccurring thing every year in the budget to where we're gonna have to figure out this and it looks like it's gonna be a nightmare to me. I think I would rather see a larger bonus one time to incentivize them getting that.
I was wondering, Sheriff, do you have any idea how many people have the basic certificate? That's when they finish basic
Soon as they
training, whatever.
graduate from Alita, yes.
Okay, so that means everybody's getting $300.
At that point, at that level.
The general certificate, because obviously, Talon was not at the meeting when we were discussing this. So how many would be getting the general certificate?
It just depends on how much time they have in training.
I thought that's the one where you have to have college English
I think you have to have, English 1 and 2.
for the general certificate. In addition to number of years in.
Yes, that's correct.
Mr. Chairman?
So
Yes.
we're not talking that everyone up there is eligible for $1,500.
Go ahead, Matt.
Where I see this going is other departments, the road department, they have to have a CDL. There's other departments that have to have certification. That now opens the door to other departments. And depending upon the level of certification, it may be more than $300. I'm just saying, it's gonna open the door to other departments. And I don't know now budget-wise.
Yeah.
This particular law is specific to the jail. Within that fund, it says at the last that only the deputies are allowed to do this. This is strictly within the jail budget. On the, I think it's 3018?
Yeah.
It's a jail budget?
Yep.
Yeah, within that one piece is where we take this thing, that the detectives only, the secretary can't get it, Jailer can't get it, well, the jailers could if they did it, but only as deputies. And it comes out of that one specific fund.
I think it's a no-brainer. I think it's a good deal.
We should vote.
Yep.
I don't think it's a no-brainer. I don't think it's a good deal. I'm supporting everybody know where I stand. I'm supporting incentivizing further education, but I'm in support of a simpler way of doing that, with a one-time bonus, and then maybe a different classification in the rate of pay and our numbers in comp. But this seems to me like a budgeting nightmare.
All right. Anybody else? All right, Ms. Dawn.
Hang on, I'm still writing. Okay. Oh, where are we? Justice Scrimmett,
I'm gonna say no.
Justice Nichols.
No.
Justice Van Kuren,
No.
Justice White,
Yes.
Justice Underwood,
Yes.
Justice Madden,
Yes.
Justice Shipman,
Yes.
Justice Brigham,
Yes.
Justice McCullough.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Oh, we'll move on to new business now.
I'm sorry.
I said we're gonna move on to new business now.
Yes. Okay. This is ordinance 2022-90, and it is regarding the Promised Land Community Organization in the amount of $14,707.70. And it is an appropriation for the construction of a multifunction concrete surface area. And it is from a grant money. This is appropriating grant money.
Motion.
You got a motion?
Second.
Yeah, second, Mr. James. Anybody need to talk about this one?
Justice Nichols,
Yes.
Justice Van Kuren,
Yes.
Justice White,
Yes.
Justice Underwood,
Yes.
Justice Madden,
Yes.
Justice Shipman,
Yes.
Justice Brigham,
Yes.
Justice McCullough,
Yes.
Justice Scrimmett.
Yes.
Thank you.
I think it was 83. What number is that, Ms. Dawn?
That was 90.
90?
Now we're doing 91.
Yep, 90.
Okay. This is an appropriation of $102,000 for the sales tax and fire departments. And it's appropriation from 1803 to other miscellaneous services. And it's the tax distribution of sales tax.
Need a
You
motion?
got a motion? Second. Mr. James, got a second from Mike?
Motion to me. Thank you.
All right, we had two motions. James is second then.
Okay.
Anybody need to talk about this one?
Mr. Chairman, for the other members, there's no money being spent. That's money that's been accumulating in the fire department fund, just sitting there, and they haven't been appropriating at the budget meetings. And all this is gonna do is correct that problem. So it's not gonna be any additional money being spent. It's already there.
Yeah, the fire department was supposed to be getting this money the whole time,
That's right.
and Dwayne straightened it out.
That's exactly right.
All right. Anybody else want to talk about this one? All right, Ms. Dawn.
I'm working on it. Hang on.
Also, while she's working on it, Dwayne had 252 addresses that was misaddressed yesterday, and he got that straightened out.
Okay, Justice Van Kuren,
Yes.
Justice White,
Yes.
Justice Underwood,
Yes.
Justice Madden,
Yes.
Justice Shipman,
Yes.
Justice Brigham,
Yes.
Justice McCullough,
Yes.
Justice Scrimmett,
Yes.
Justice Nichols.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, this next one, which is 2022-92. There's one that was sent out in your packet and it said $250,000. One I put on your table tonight says $500,000. That's the one we will be voting on.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
So
one is
anyway,
500,000. One is
This
500.
appropriates money from the American Rescue Fund for
ARPA money.
funding request by the Marion County non-governmental
Put that forward.
organizations in the amount of
What can you get put in for
$500,000.
us?
Motion. Second,
Got a motion, a second. Anybody want to talk about this one?
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Is there gonna be a notice sent out to all the various organizations in the county, of these available funds and a procedure for applying for them?
They're gonna get a application, there'll be an application thing, and Karen, we're working on it to send out and make it publicly known where everybody will know that there's 500,000 sitting there, and they will fill out an application and the Quorum Court will approve it
Okay,
before they get the money.
okay.
Are we going to have a limit on each organization getting so much?
I don't, that's up to y'all. That's up to the Quorum Court.
This has kind of become my baby, and it's not my baby, especially especially with the new administration coming in. I have no idea what the next judge is gonna want. We're gonna have a committee.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have to decide those things. One, put the information out there that these funds are available. Both Washington County and Benton County, which of course are huge counties, put it out that they have money available, and the money that they had set aside to help organizations far exceeded what they had thought it was going to be, which was the reason for the 250 being up to 500,000. I called the budget committee to ask permission to do that. So until the new administrator comes in, we don't really know how it's gonna look, but we've got the money set aside. We will have, if this passes, we will have the money set aside.
Anyone else got a question or?
The only thing I'll add to that is, in our county, we have a lot of real small organizations, and making them aware of some availability, they could use it for, I'll just say sidewalks or handicap ramps, something where they just don't have the funds. So,
There's a lot of restrictions, Mr. Russo. You
Okay.
can nod your head. If it's a city, they receive their own money, they cannot get money from
okay,
this.
that's good to know that.
Yep.
Thank you.
Anyone else want to speak on this? Let's move on, Don.
Let me finish writing. Justice White,
Yes.
Justice Underwood,
Yes.
Justice Madden,
Yes.
Justice Chipman,
Yes.
Justice Brigham,
Yes.
Justice McCullough,
Yes.
Justice Scrimmah,
Yes.
Justice Nichols.
Yes.
Justice Van Kuren.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, this next ordinance kind of covers what y'all just discussed. It establishes the guidelines for the appropriation of the monies of the American Rescue Plan Fund, for the special, well, this says 250,000, so we need to change that.
I'll make a-
500,000.
Make a motion, we amended?
Motion to suspend the rules.
You got a motion to suspend the rules?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Sorry.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
What are we doing right now?
Okay, motion to expend the rules. Now, I need a motion to amend it.
Have we made a motion to put it on the floor to discuss it? Or is this the one?
This will be the one.
Right now, there's nothing on the floor.
We have just voted that we are suspending the rules.
To go backwards one? I don't know what you've got in your hands.
We have to amend this ordinance.
Right.
Is that the one we just passed?
No, this is the one that tells us how we can spend the money. But it says 250,000 in there instead of 500,000.
Okay. Well, first, before we can amend it, we need to have motions where we can discuss it. So I'll make a motion
To discuss it?
to discuss it.
I'll second his motion.
And then we can make a motion to amend it.
Okay,
I'm thinking this is the one that we were not going to do. We had to separate them out. We had to
Oh.
do two separate.
so this one is the
I think
whole?
so. I think that's right. You can ask. We did two separate ones. One for the money and one for the rules, how they were to be set up.
If that's what we need to do, then I'll retract my motion. What we just did.
Everybody's confused right now, so
Yes.
let's back up and start. So where we at now?
I'm not sure.
I thought you was
Are you
confused.
voting on the one for,
Karen said that this one was supposed to be pulled.
The 250?
no,
The one for the, with all the information from, Washington County.
This is the one that, can I speak?
Yeah.
This is the one that has the application
I don't know.
that needs to be filled out.
this is the one with just the application part, doesn't have money. And then the one for 500,000
Okay,
is the money.
okay.
Two separate things, because we couldn't do both.
Okay,
One
can we
is in
start
first.
over and use the same number and just go on? Because I didn't have this one. No, this one says.
Yeah, I don't know. I ain't got half of them.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
To pull it?
Well, I can retract my motion and then there's nothing on the floor
Let me
again.
see your book.
That's what I'm gonna do.
I've got a whole bunch of ordinances here too on my desk. Or on
Well,
the,
you can't amend something that you're not discussing.
Alan, retract your motion.
I'll retract my motion.
Okay, so
I'll
now,
retract my second.
Too late, I already retracted my motion.
I use the same number on this
So
one.
where we at?
She's trying to find the right paperwork and then we'll make a motion.
Got it. All right, so we're back to ordinance number 93. This ordinance establishes the guidelines for the appropriation of the money of the American Rescue Plan Act Fund. And it is allocating such funds as needed for the sole purpose of supporting all county-related expenditures and requests as allowed by federal guidelines.
Motion.
Okay.
This is not an appropriation ordinance.
So we're not gonna do.
No,
Gotta read it 3
that's
times.
right.
Yes.
This is just setting up the rules.
Yep.
Okay,
I'm good with I'm good with reading it 3 times.
okay, well, let's do one thing at a time. Okay, you made the motion.
I
need
got a motion?
Please,
got a second?
okay.
Anybody need to talk about this? Since nobody knows what's going on.
We're working on it.
That won't keep us from.
I don't know what we're gonna talk about, but we're gonna talk about something.
We are now where we thought we were about 3 minutes ago.
Before we should have been last week.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna vote to adopt, and this is the first reading. The one that has the application to fund, to put. Yes, I mean, that's just an example, of course, but that's, okay. So this is the first reading. And Justice Underwood,
Yes.
Justice Madden,
Yes.
Justice Shipman.
Yes.
Justice Brigham.
Yes.
Justice McCullough,
Yes.
Justice Scrimmah,
Yes.
Justice Nichols.
Yes.
Justice Van Kuren,
Yes.
Justice White.
Yep.
Okay.
Do we want to read it about 3 times tonight or we're gonna read it next month?
We can do it all at once, you just have to.
Well, motion to suspend the rules and to have a second reading.
Second.
I got a motion to suspend the rules. Now a second.
Second reading,
All in favor?
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay. So this is the second reading. Justice Madden,
Yes.
Justice Shipman,
Yes.
Justice Brigham.
Yes.
Justice McCullough,
Yes.
Justice Scrimmah,
Yes.
Justice Nichols.
Yes.
Justice Van Kuren.
Yes.
Justice White.
Yes.
Justice Underwood.
Yes.
Thank you. All right.
Motion to suspend the rules and have the third reading.
Second.
We got a motion to suspend the rules and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay. All right. Justice Shipman,
Yes.
Justice Brigham.
Yes.
Justice McCullough,
Yes.
Justice Scrimmah. Justice-
Yes.
Justice Nichols.
Yes.
Justice Van Kuren.
Yes.
Justice White.
Yeah.
Justice Underwood.
Yes.
Justice Madden.
Yes.
Okay, so,
What we'll pay you for.
Job security.
yeah, it's okay. I got work. All right. Okay. Ordinance 94. Okay, this is to appropriate funds for the purchase of a fleet of 7 vehicles for law enforcement and related expenses of each is necessary for law enforcement to replace the vehicles. It's in the amount of $299,050.
Motion.
Got a motion?
What was the figure you had?
$299,050, and it comes out of the American Rescue Fund.
I got a motion.
Second.
Got a second by Rick. Anybody want to talk about this? Go ahead, Justice.
At one of our budget meetings, when the incoming sheriff was there, and we went over this ordinance, one of the things that we asked for was a list of the vehicles that the sheriff's department has, the number of miles that were on it, and I believe Justice Scrima would like to know who's attached to those vehicles.
Right.
We have not received that additional information, so I think maybe we should table this till next month until we get that information. Because at the time when we were speaking to the incoming sheriff, he didn't know how many vehicles he had, how many are over 200,000, or any of that information.
He sent me the list, but he did send it to y'all, and I assumed he sent it to y'all too, but, he had everything detailed out like he asked for.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, there was an ordinance passed last year, because the inventory problem with the vehicles has been an issue. And I requested a complete inventory at that time, identifying, because we knew of the vehicles sitting over there by the jail, accountability to what vehicles were really being used and which ones weren't, and who's using them. Because there's all sorts of rumors going around about who used them. I didn't want to get into that. I have yet to receive that document.
He's done all of his homework. He got everything done. I don't mind tabling it because he's got all his work done. He just needs to send it to y'all because he sent it to me on my personal phone, but.
Well, that's been cited 3 times, 3 years in a row. So, yeah.
Go ahead, tell him.
Claudia made a motion to table it and Joyce seconded it.
Yeah.
So we should vote on that.
All right, we got a motion in a second, so to table.
Let's see, where am I at? Justice Shipman?
Yes.
No, this is the table, okay. Justice Shipman, Justice Brigham?
Yes.
Justice McCullough?
Yes.
Justice Scrima?
Yes.
Justice Nichols?
Yes.
Justice Van Kuren?
No.
Justice White?
Yes.
Justice Underwood?
Yes.
Justice Madden?
Yes.
Motion passed.
I can't believe it.
To table, okay. Okay. This is ordinance 2022-95. This allows for the quorum court for each, I need it to amend it, but I'll start out. To increase the quorum court regular meetings per diem by $25 for a total of, it says $95, but it should say $225 because currently you are getting paid $200 per regular meeting.
Motion.
You got a motion?
Amend.
Got a motion to amend?
You gotta have a motion to discuss it first. We should make a motion to discuss it. I'll make the motion to discuss it.
Second.
Got a motion to discuss it. You got a second with,
I'll
Mr.
second
James.
it. Motion to amend it.
Motion to amend.
Talon got a second on that. All in favor to amend?
To make it, look,
Aye.
we're amending it to say 225.
Right, okay. Who seconded the motion to amend?
I did.
Okay, thank you. Okay,
We appreciate you reading the Robert's Rule book, Mr. Van Kuren.
Well, now,
You're doing a good job.
Technically, it's debatable
Yeah.
whether we would like to amend that or not. I don't think $25 is enough. I think we should be getting paid at least $50. I think everybody in the county got very large bonuses except for us this last go around. And no one ran against me, so let's pay a little bit more and get some competition.
You know, Mr. Chairman, I agree with
Hey, y'all make the motion, or we do it, we amend it right here. It doesn't make a difference. Maybe we can raise it to 250. I don't care.
you wanna make.
Now, how long has it been since somebody's ran against you, Mike?
Me?
Yeah, how long has it been since someone's ran
Let's
against
get
you?
back on the subject. Let's get back on the subject of what we're talking about. That has got nothing to do with it. Who run with who? We're talking about the $25 or 50. We're gonna talk about the 25 or the 50, whatever y'all want. We're not talking about who run against who. We absolutely don't care.
I'll make a motion to amend it to $50.
I got a motion to amend it to 50. I got a motion to move to 50, and I got a second.
To 250.
That's right.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'll second it because.
We got a
clearly we're
second
not-
from Mr. James. Mike made the motion, James seconded.
All right, well, then I'd like to discuss it.
All right, let's discuss it.
Would you please wait?
Yeah, I'll wait.
Just hang on.
Better catch up.
Who seconded? The
James.
motion
Mr.
to
James.
amend to 50, okay. Okay, 50, which we raise it to
Going out by new car now.
250. Okay, now what are you doing?
Well, I would like to say that I support the 50 because no one ever has ran against several of us. And clearly, we're not getting paid.
I'd like to say I'd support 25, and I thought that was being low.
So we got, anybody else want to talk about the 50? Yep, James said he thought we deserve 50. Let's vote on it.
Okay, so. I am so confused right now.
We're amending
We're
it.
voting on an amendment to
Yes.
make it read 250 a month.
That's right.
Well, now what about the committee meetings for 95?
It's not
Joyce,
on
don't get greedy, please.
there. Discussion for another day.
Okay, Justice Brigham,
Yes.
Justice McCullough,
Yes.
Justice Scrimmah,
Yes.
Justice Nichols,
Yes.
Justice Van Kuren,
Yes.
Justice White,
No.
Justice Underwood,
Oh, yes.
Justice Madden.
No,
What did you say?
He said no.
I said 25, and I was being real low, and y'all got greedy, so. I
Okay,
ain't
Justice
gonna support
Only one got greedy is Joyce.
I didn't either.
You wanted some for the meetings too? All right, let's move on.
It may fail. I don't know. Passed or failed.
Motion passed to amend it to say $50, so it'd be $250 per meeting,
Regular meeting.
For regular meeting.
for a regular meeting. Karen, we can get together and retype that tomorrow. Now that's gonna change your budget too.
What was that number?
95.
Thank you.
I'm leaving, I don't care if you get 500.
Let's make a motion.
Motion to suspend the rules and go back to that ordinance and adopt Brady's idea of 500.
But I will say all the negative I've heard about all these deputies getting raised, and you all raised from 25 to 50 is funny.
Let's get back on the subject.
Yeah. Okay, so.
Turn around.
2296 is for appropriation of funds in the amount of $20,000 to accommodate the position of the Marion County coroner at the renovation of the building out there, so.
Motion.
Got a motion?
Second.
Got a second? Anybody need to talk about this one?
Okay. Justice McCullough,
Yes.
Justice Scrimmah,
Yes.
Justice Nichols.
Yes.
Justice Van Kuren,
Yes.
Justice White.
Yes.
Justice Underwood,
Yes.
Justice Madden,
Yes.
Justice Shipman,
Yes.
Justice Brigham.
Yes.
Thank you. I gotta take it. This is 2297, and this is also for the coroner's office. They're asking for additional supplies for the position in the amount of $4,826.33. Isn't that to do something to their vehicle, a new vehicle?
He got additional supplies that he,
We can talk about this if we get a motion.
Motion.
We got a motion?
Second.
Got a second? All right, now we can discuss it. Go ahead, Karen.
he got some supplies, and then this is so new, starting out this new office, there was some things he forgot. that he
But
needed
I tried
to
to-
take care of. And shipping was a big, freight for the cooler was huge.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
If I recall, if I want to be sure, this is on this year's budget.
Yes.
These are expenses we're approving for 22 budget. Okay.
Yeah, what happened was he didn't realize,
Yeah.
he didn't understand this
I remember
budget.
that at the meeting, yeah. I
Yeah.
agree with you.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make it clear that.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else want to talk about this?
Justice Scrima,
Yes.
Justice Nichols.
Yes.
Justice Van Kuren.
Yes.
Justice White.
Yes.
Justice Underwood.
Yes.
Justice Madden.
Yes.
Justice Shipman.
Yes.
Justice Brigham.
Yes.
Justice McCullough.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay,
How many more ordinances we got, Miss Dawn?
this is the last one.
I start to say this is on, I just got one left on my sheet.
Okay, this is the biggie. 2022-98, 2023 budget for Marion County.
Motion.
You got a motion?
Second.
You got a second? Anybody need to talk about the budget for next year?
I hope y'all got it in good shape.
It's in good shape.
Very good shape.
Mine was in good shape.
I hope everybody read it before they vote.
The only thing I'll comment on the,
Oh.
I mean, have we got a motion?
Yeah, we got a motion and a second. Telling you got to order. Go ahead, Mike. You got the floor.
but, regarding the numbers and counts, if you read the detail as far as personnel, it's, all the personnel have to come through, positions and all that through the Quorum Court. So that there was one, I won't mention the department, they had next year, this coming year, as a salary that was never approved, and I blacked that out, and you'll see it. So if it gets questioned, then they should present it in an ordinance that is passed by the Quorum Court. So
Anyone
that's all I
else?
have.
Thank you. Anyone else want to talk about the budget?
Okay. Justice Nichols.
Yes.
Justice Van Kuren.
Yes.
Justice White.
Yes.
Justice Underwood.
Yes.
Justice Madden.
I did.
Brady. Justice Shipman.
Yes.
Justice Brigham.
Yes.
Justice McCullough.
Yes.
Justice Scrima.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, phew,
Uh,
that's done.
We got, Miss Claudia wants to say a few words, and we got a couple of things we would like to pass out tonight before we adjourn, if y'all don't mind. Miss Claudia, you got the floor.
Karen asked if I would say a few words about our outgoing JPs. So I've written a few words. I always love to talk. So Brady. Brady's been a justice of the peace since 2013. He has served on numerous committees, including law enforcement and solid waste. He has been asked to serve on other committees, including personnel and budget, but his life is extremely busy. And as he says, I just don't have the time for anything else. Speaking of his busy life, he is an owner, partner in numerous businesses. To name just a few, MSI, a fertilizer business. He also drives a dump truck and runs a farm. Because of his work, Brady is out and about in the county. So at most meetings, we have heard him say, I've been asked about, to clarify word on the street. We can always count on Brady to say, I make a motion to adjourn. Brady has given back to the county, not just in helping shape county government, but in his time and money, and by serving as a Marion County deputy for a number of years. Justice Brady is a proud graduate of Yellow Summit High School, woohoo. He met Tammy in 2009, and together they have 4 boys and 1 granddaughter. He is also very proud that one of the boys is following in his footsteps by currently serving as an employee of Marion County in the law enforcement department. Judge, hand it to me.
We got a plaque here for Brady. I hope, I appreciate that, old buddy. But you did a good job. I appreciate everything you've done for me and for the county.
Thank you. I've enjoyed serving the people of Marion County, and I look forward to the new coming in, and appreciate y'all letting me be a part of it. Thank you very much.
James Underwood. James is leaving us after serving the last 2 years as JP from District 5. But James has served on the Quorum Court for 3 other terms. Guess he just can't get enough of a good time. Like Brady, James has served on numerous committees, including budget, personnel, and law enforcement. James is quiet, but when he speaks, the rest of us on the committees listen. He has done his research and makes sound decisions and votes according to what he thinks is best. James has earned our trust and the trust of his district. I know that he has taken many a phone call and has answered them because that's what he signed up for. James is married to Carrie Underwood and is a lifelong resident of Marion County. James and Carrie have 4 children, 2 sons-in-laws, 1 grandchild, and he's very proud of them all. Thank you, James.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank the members of my district for putting me in this place of, I don't know what you call it.
Responsibility.
I'm gonna just leave that open, but no, it's been a pleasure with all of you, working with every one of you, looking out for the best interests of our county. And we're handing it off to a good gentleman coming in to take my place. Mr. John Reed will do an excellent job for you, and I just thank you all for the opportunity. Thank you.
You got anything else, Claudia?
Brady, James, it's hard to say goodbye. We've had a great team. We've not always agreed on everything, but we've all worked hard together. The Quorum Court thanks you both for your years of service to Marion County. Please keep in mind that we will always welcome you back, provided the voters agree to continue the great work you've started. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, it's with great honor I get to talk about the judge.
Boy.
The best for last.
You stand up, talk about it.
Boy, he don't tell what be in the paper.
John is married to Marcia Flippin Massey, and they have been together since 1995. They have 3 daughters, 1 son, and 6 grandchildren, and Marcia has been beside him this whole time. John has been a resident of Marion County for 31 years and retired from energy after 30 years. And he retired after winning the election 4 years ago. He has also owned and operated his own business where he learned how to manage and brought this knowledge to Marion County. Judge Massey, you have given your all for Marion County for the last 4 years. So what have you accomplished? First off, you have kept the JPs informed. You have spoken to each of us individually with your reasons why you were or were not supporting something. You gave us each the same story and never once tried to play one against the other. We worked as a team together. You have asked county departments to be accountable. You didn't win a lot of support sometimes, but sometimes it needed to be done. You have made many positive changes. You are leaving the county with more equipment, more money, and better systems. You have improved the county buildings by adding new roofs, new paint, new furniture, generators, and new windows at the health department. Again, the county is better off now than we were 4 years ago. John, you and I have talked, laughed, fought, and I'm pretty sure I've hung up on you on the phone multiple times. But you have always had what's best for Marion County first. You have given of yourself because making Marion County better is why you ran for judge. You can walk out of your office on December 31st with your head held high because you have succeeded. From all of us on the Quorum Court, Judge John Massey, we thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that, James. Thanks.
You're not.
Hey,
Anything after the first of the year, you can go up to Oakland and.
yeah, I may put on for a deputy. I want to let y'all know, we made some hard decisions and we didn't win no popularity contest. If it hadn't been for these 9 people here, we'd be bankrupt. I believe that with all my heart. They stood up for what's right. They made the paper for defunding the police. They've been on the internet. They never stepped down. They never called names. And my hat's off to the JPs. The only thing I'm proud of, we got 1.5 million in the carryover in the county general. The road shop's sitting good. I'm just happy that the new administration's coming in with a good funding, a good quorum court, and a lot of good backing. Now, in my heart, I hope the best for him. He got what I really hate is for his family, because his family will absolutely catch hell before it's over. It may not be this year, but I promise you, his family will absolutely go through hell. If I offended somebody, tough shit. Appreciate it. I've got one more thing to say. Yeah, we got cookies and stuff in there for the JPs, but I got one more thing. First of the year, about halfway cheered up on y'all. But the first of the year, our collector walked out. She retired. Her assistant walked out. We had a woman here, her husband had passed away with cancer. She was absolutely struggling, having a hard time to get by. She come in, she got the books balanced. She done everything in the world to do a good job for the county. I just want to recognize her for 8 years of service to Marion County. She will be leaving. Miss Angie Goodman, if you would. She has done an outstanding job helping Tony. Also, with everything said, the sheriff has done a good job. He's done a lot of positive things for us. He's had to make some hard decisions, and it's got me and him in the same boat. But I've got no regrets, none. I've done nothing that I'm ashamed of, and I'm not taking I will not apologize for anything I've made a decision on. I have made some bad decisions. I will own up to that, but we've made some good ones. But the most thing about it is what the paper misses to put Paul Hudson absolutely is worse than the Pony Express. He's from building to building, spreading the word. So if you need anything spread, call Paul Hudson. Don't call the paper. But with that said,
Brady, one last time.
Does it have to be the truth, Judge?
no, it never has been. So Brady, got a motion? Out of here. Don't forget the drinks and the. Oh, beat the hell out of Claudia. You got two, man.
I gotta go marry somebody. Shirley.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, I know.
Get a cookie.
Do we have to have it, do we need to have a special meeting? Why was it like that? Yeah, we don't say Not that I'm in the cars. But we got that.
Two more years.
No, I just, yeah, there's cookies, there's cookies, so go in there.
I like that.
Well,
Yeah, I'm done. I'm ready.
Well, now that you talk about the 2 miles an hour, I'm worried about it pulls up in your driveway. I hadn't been able to make it.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate all.